Have you ever judged someone or misread someone based off of one interaction? Well, guess what? I'm guilty of that, especially with the officer that I'll be bringing on to today's episode of the Stories We Carry. I learned so much from him in our interview, and one thing that I can say is do not make up this thought in your head that you know who someone is based off of one encounter. That couldn't be farther from the truth, and I learned that the hard way. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Stories We Carry. I'm your host, Gabby, with one B and one Y, and we're continuing on with the Behind the Badge series. Today, I'm joined by a veteran and fellow officer, and I'm not going to take too much of his time. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
I sure can. Well, my name is Officer Ramos. I go by Ramos. I rather.
Oh, you don't go by your first name?
No.
Oh. Is it only like family that goes by your first name?
No, I go, well, with my family, I use my second name, which is Gerald.
Gerald?
Yeah, Gerald.
Okay, everybody.
Really,
we're all family now.
really weird to have a white dude second name.
Okay, and where are you from?
Puerto Rico.
How did you get here? Well, okay, a lot of people don't know that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory and that you have citizenship.
That's correct.
And
yeah,
so
I got my papers.
He has his papers. And so how did you get to the United States? What made you want to leave Puerto Rico?
So when I was born, what I was told, when I was born, they ended up bringing me to America, to New York. Mm-hmm. My aunt did, and then lived there for my first 8 to 9 years.
So you were raised in New York?
Sort of, yeah.
Oh, so did you go back to Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Wow, for how long?
When I went back, I don't recall the age when I went back. Mm-hmm. And then it was just going back and forward. Mm-hmm. Lived with my aunt in New York, and then when I went to Puerto Rico with my dad for a little bit, mm-hmm. which I felt kind of comfortable with him, but then I'd rather to stay with my grandma. Every time I visit her, I was like, I want to stay here. Yeah. She spoiled me, so,
Yeah, that's your grandma.
Right? Yeah.
I will leave her.
So then I stayed with her. Then I remember I fussed about it one day. I was really young, and my dad was like, he got mad. I was like, you want to stay here? So he went back to the house, which was almost like 30 minutes away, pick up all my clothes and brought it back.
Oh.
Stay with your grandma. Okay.
Were you a teenager by then already?
I think I was like, 12 or 13 years old?
Oh, okay, yeah. You were just a brand new teenager running the streets.
Around there, I think so. Which, for me, it was kind of the best moments of my life, because my grandfather, he taught me everything I know today's day, as being a man, like working hard, providing for the family. Mm-hmm. That good stuff like that.
I say it like, me being Puerto Rican as well, a lot of my foundation comes from my grandparents. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's like normal for everybody's culture, because it's usually like your mom and dad, and I'm like, no. Like, if you're asking me who I look up to, is my grandmother. Yeah. She's been here since 1940. She's been here for decades through like the worst thing ever.
Stuff, yeah.
And true. It was always something that, they're still here. At least mine, or your grandparents are still alive.
So my grandma is from my dad's side. Mm-hmm. My grandfather, he passed in 2018 when I moved from Texas to Georgia. Mm-hmm. And that hit me hard. And it didn't hit me hard the day of when I found out that he passed. Mm-hmm. But I think it was like 2 days later, I was like, holy shit.
Were you able to go to his funeral?
No, I couldn't, because I was PCSing, Wow. Yeah. And when he was really sick, I was in the transition of moving from Texas to Georgia. And it was just, I did what I could in myself. I was trying to get him to a hospital here and all that stuff. And I was like, man, there's nothing I can do. Mm. They're like, the doctor was like, we can't move him. Like, he's terminal. He's about to die.
Man. So that was one of those things, the hardest things you probably had to process because you were so close to him?
Yeah, with my grandfather, yes. And like I said, it didn't hit me the day of when I found out he passed. But like 2 days later, 2 or 3 days, I was just sitting down and it hit me. I was like, the man that literally taught you everything.
No longer here.
Is no longer here. The one that told you when you were a kid, grab that shovel, you're going to mix concrete. Come on. Man. I was like, oh. This is cool. You're not a kid. It's cool. You give me like $10 after that.
He's teaching you how to start working hard.
I was like, this is cool. I learned a lot from him. Good thing and bad thing. I won't lie. You know, he told
Yeah.
me, my grandfather, you know, back in, you know, the
Back in the day, yeah. How they were.
But yeah, and then, so from my dad's side, I still got my grandmother alive. She's in Chicago now.
Man, you have family everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
So, your family, you coming to the United States, so you were in New York, then you were in Texas, then you were in Georgia.
Well, Georgia because of Army, but I live in Alabama because that's why.
Well, so, and then Alabama, okay. And then when did you join the military?
2012.
2012? And it was just something natural, or you were like, I don't have really anything to do with my life, let's just do it?
So, since I was thinking what I wanted to do when I was a kid, like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to do this, you know. At first, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I was like, God. I was nerdy, though. It's funny. I was really nerdy when I was a kid. Yeah. Really nerdy. I remember I used to have glasses and everything. But then going to Puerto Rico and knowing, you know, learning how to work, and then when my dad in the world and my dad was, you know, in the streets, involved in the streets, I learned how easy the money would have come with that too. It messed me up. Like I was like, you know what? Schools, I don't need a school. If I can make money like this.
Because you were exposed to
Yeah,
that.
I exposed to it, you know. But my father always told me, hey, this is the right way to make money, it's the wrong way to make money.
You make your decision.
It's just up to you. And I was like, okay. So at first I was like, I'll do it the right way. Because I won't lie, I was feared of, you know, I feared, like, when I saw killings and all this stuff going on, you know, how the streets was. I was like, yeah, it's not for me. But then kind of grew, you know, start getting older. And I was like, guys, you know, as a boy, when you hit 16, 17, 18, you get balls, you know, like, man, nothing's going to kill me, you know. These guys ain't going to do shit to me, you know.
Yeah.
And it was at that point in life I was like, well, I want to be like my dad, you know. I don't want to work hard. I just want to make easy money. Mm-hmm. But things turned bad when I turned, was it 19? Around there, when I was 18, 19, things turned really, it took a 180 degree turn of life. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not what I thought it was, you know.
You had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, and since I always had it in the back of my head, I always wanted to be a soldier. So I was like, you know, might as well, if I want to do all the shooting and having fun and the drilling, let's get paid for it the proper way.
Yeah, the proper way, because you had those two options.
Yeah. And funny thing, going back a little bit, in 2008, I tried to join the Marine Corps. They took the test, passed. Well, I had my first girlfriend, and that was like, oh, do I really want to join the military?
Oh,
and the war was the peak of the war. I was like,
oh, no.
Yeah, and then she, you know, you kids. I was young. I was 18.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I don't want you to go there, then something will happen to you. I was like, okay, I'm not going to join.
So you didn't join?
Not in 2008.
So what were you doing at that time?
I did so many things.
You were just finding jobs here and there.
Bartending, working odd jobs, you know.
Just anything, really.
Messing around the streets a little bit. You know.
So then when you finished there, you didn't go, and you finally went in 2012?
In 2012, yes. When I had a mishap with one girlfriend. Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah. Tried to pin a baby on me. But,
oh, man.
Yeah. And it was...
So it was enough for you that you didn't have anything holding you back when it was time for you to join? No. Like it was the first time?
Yeah, the first time, because like, I don't regret any decision
I've
made in my life. Because I got one saying that my grandfather always told me to was, you don't regret, you learn from them.
Yeah.
And that's how I always do it, you know.
Man,
I messed up.
They have like a whole plethora of things that your grandfather told you. Because they're just so wise, you know.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, and that's how I see life. You know, I don't regret of any decision I've made. I learn from it. If it's a bad decision, well, it's a bad decision. Well, we learn. Don't do it again.
As long as you don't repeat it.
Unless you don't repeat it, that's right. Yeah. I did that. 2012 comes by. This whole shenanigan happened with this girl. And that's the point of my life. I was like, you know, I got to do something. I cannot go earn, you know, $7.25 back then, or I think it still is the minimum wage.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You can't even afford a friggin' apartment.
Yeah, you can't. No, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I end up going back to Puerto Rico because I was in Massachusetts with a girl. So I ended up in Puerto Rico, and I took the test I think 2 times.
So you could join from over there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. I talked to a recruiter in January, took the test. After studying, like, eating the book, didn't pass the test. I was like, Jesus,
Yeah.
I know I'm not dumb. You know, I'm smart. I know I'm dumb. Like, not dumb at all. It's like, what is going on?
It's just a different type of test that you weren't prepared for. I mean,
I think-
for the first time you were exposed to it.
But it wasn't the first time because I passed it in 2008. So I knew what it was.
Oh, but I mean, you've gone through life at that point.
So it was
a
like-
couple years there.
Yeah, I was like, let me take it again. It's February come by because you got to wait 30 days. Back then you had to wait
before
30
you-
days
okay.
to take it again. A retest. Failed again.
Oof.
Like, bad. You know, like.
And you never took it as a sign, like, maybe I should have joined the military.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's how I thought. But that's a thought process I had after. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to join. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
One day, where we were at, I was with the bartending, the school of bartending. We end up doing like an event in this place. This recruiter comes and approached me, a female recruiter. Mind you, I don't know the difference. Back then, I didn't know the difference of U.S. Army, active duty,
I learned from everybody that has sat here.
So-
like, tell me more.
the National Guard, the U.S. Army Reserve. I didn't know nothing. So
Yeah.
I just see a soldier came and approached me and talked to me about the military. I was like, I just went off on her. I was like, that test is bullshit. It's rigged. You know, I studied. I failed. Like, it's impossible. I failed this test so many times. And she was like, why you don't take it with us? I didn't
So who were you taking it with?
with the National Guard at first.
Oh.
But I didn't know. Like, she said, take it with us. I didn't even thought about her words that came.
Yeah.
I didn't thought about her words that came out of the mouth. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, if you want me to take the test, project me to take the test. When she heard the word, I was like, well, how you know that word? I was like, because I already took the test twice. It's like, project me to take the test.
Yeah.
I'll go. This happened, I believe it was either a Friday or Saturday, the event. Monday, I'm in her office. They scheduled me for the test. Wednesday, I took a test. And Friday of the following week, I was already swearing in.
So it was just the branch, essentially. National
guess.
Guard was not for you.
No, the active army wasn't. So
Oh,
I ended up
okay.
taking it with the National Guard. I didn't know the difference. She was
Oh.
National Guard. The whole time I'm
Oh.
thinking, I want to join the U.S. Army, which it says.
Because you just think it's the one.
Yeah,
You know, I
because,
thought about
so
my
you see
life.
the National Guard, it says U.S. Army.
National Guard.
Well, they didn't say National Guard, they say U.S. Army.
Oh,
But when
okay.
your paperwork say U.S. Army National Guard.
Oh.
I was like, I took the test, and the test normally takes 3.5 hours to 4 hours to take. I took that test in an hour and 27 minutes. I didn't read like properly. I was just clicking Charlie. You know how they say Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. That's basically what I was doing. Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Just to make her happy that took a test.
Yeah.
When the tester comes out after I was done, she was like, "Oh, congratulations, you passed the test." I was like, "How did I hell? How the hell I
I
passed
was
this?"
just playing around.
I was literally playing around with the computer.
Yeah.
And it kind of sank into me. I was like, man, you're about to be a soldier there.
Mm.
Like, what you really wanted. But then I won't lie, I was thinking, I was like, do I really want to do this now?
It's fun.
Because like you said, the first 2 times, I took it like as a sign. I don't want to join. You know, I should not join. I might get killed. All the crazy thoughts that go through your head.
Yeah.
But then I signed up.
Man, that has to be
and-
big processing that, though. How do you accept that you... I mean, I guess it's the same thing that goes hand in hand as being an officer. Like, how do you guys process, like, I could get killed? Like, is it just like... Is it really, like, honor? Like,
Well,
you're for your country?
After being a soldier and all that, it's like the thought of getting killed in the line is just
Just
it can
another
happen.
day?
Well, for me, it's the way I see life is you were born to die.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like when I say it like that. It's like your day is already written in a book. If you believe in whatever God you believe and whatever you believe is, your day is already written somewhere. The day you're gonna go. So
You decided to do it a little different. A little spicy.
yeah. So I joined, and mind you, I didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
I joined.
So basically, are you going in this, like, question mark? I don't even know what I'm signing myself up for.
When I joined,
Well, like, let's say you swore in.
yeah, I sworn in. Like, so you swore in, how they say defend the Constitution, United
Yeah.
States, all this good stuff.
But did you get your orders of where you were going to go?
No, because you got to go basic training first.
Oh,
So
where's
I-
basic training at?
So I ended up here in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny how everything started in Fort Benning and it ended up in Fort Benning.
Fort Benning,
Yeah.
yeah.
So come to Fort Benning, and they calling all the National Guard guys. They calling us nasty girls. Oh, you nasty girls, because the NG, National Guards, NG. It was funny though.
Okay, I'm getting it. Okay.
It was funny. It was like, oh, you nasty girls, blah blah.
Excuse me. What? That's crazy. That's your breaking point right there. They're breaking you guys down.
Yeah, well, they didn't divide us,
Oh,
but the
okay.
way they treat us, it was a little bit like literally like nasty girls. Oh, you
Yeah.
guys are trash. You guys ain't gonna do nothing. Which is technically kind of true, because I'm done with basic training, go back to my unit, and they told me, oh, you only work 2 days of the month, or no, how was it? Yeah, a weekend of the month, something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it's
A weekend
National
warrior,
Guard.
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I see the
weekend warrior.
disrespect of other soldiers to higher ranking, higher ranking non-commissioned officers, and I'm like, I'm there in attention in the first formation. I'm proud of what I am. And I got the older guys that have been there for 15, 20 years doing that. They're like, man, you don't gotta stand like that. You good. This is not serious. And I'm like, I'm a soldier, man. It's serious for me. I don't know for you guys, but for me it is. In that moment, I realized I didn't want to be a National Guard guy. I was like, you know what? This is not for me. I got to
you
go
got
active
out,
duty.
or were
No,
you-
I did everything I could to go active duty right away.
So
I had
it
to give
was-
him 2 years.
Were you reserved? Essentially, is how you went.
So
in?
National Guard, it has some similarity with reservists. So I worked, I think my first year or my first 6 months, I was just going on the weekends, and then I ended up getting orders to be active, kind of like an active duty guy with the National Guard,
within the state.
with the Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So I did that for a little bit, and then I think I did it for like almost a year. Then after that, I was like, I put in my paperwork because I worked at what it would be like the headquarters
Yeah.
of the National Guard in Puerto Rico.
And
I
you want
worked
to
there.
go active.
Yeah, I worked there, so I knew all the high-ranking officers. I knew the
that
general,
from you.
and I was like, so. One day, I decided. I remember I went in civilian clothes and everything. So I talked to an active duty recruiter. He gave me all the paperwork to transfer. I didn't know better, I was a private, I don't know nothing. He told me where to go. He's like, go to this office, this room, and just hand the paperwork, and they're gonna sign it. My dumb ass listened, so I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Oh my God. So what does this lead you? Where do you end up?
In the general's office, which is I forgot her name. She was the general, so the top dog of the National Guard in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
So I knocked on the door in civilian clothes. They
They
opened
really
the door.
set you up.
Yeah, I was like, she's like, how can I help you? And I was like, when I see the stars and I was like, holy hell.
Hey.
Oh, well, I am Private Ramos, and I got my paperwork here. I'm trying to transfer to active duty. And she asked me about my first line supervisor, which it was like my team leader or squad leader back then. And I was like, well, he's not here. I'm here.
Because that's what they told you, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I kind of saw in her face that she was mad, but at the same time, it was like, well, he got the balls to come here. She grabbed the paper, signed, and released me.
Wow.
So
It was meant to be.
it was
You
meant to
wanted.
be. Yeah, like it happened so fast. I remember I went to her office, and within I think 3 weeks, I already had orders to come to Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm going active duty. And then when I show up in active duty, it was a whole like transition over again, because technically as a National Guard, I was a civilian guy.
Yeah.
I was like, it's
So now this is like a next level stuff.
Yeah, and I was like, holy hell. And then I ended up working with higher ranking officers again because I had a top secret clearance. I was like, yeah, you're going to work with these guys.
Yeah.
I was like, well, here we go.
Man.
And it was fun. I enjoyed the time.
How long did you get deployed a lot of times?
2 rotations,
How long is a rotation?
9 months. Fun time.
So 2 rotations?
Yeah.
Total.
Mhm.
Wow. Do you still
Training in other states. And
do you still talk to the people that you were in the...
I still got communication with some.
Mm-hmm.
Some unfortunately took their life, which is, it sucks.
Is that something that affects you when you... Just because you thought about them?
A little bit. They were good. Like one was really like one of my best friends in the military. And that one hit me hard when I found out because
How'd you find out?
by a post on social media. Yeah.
What?
It was on Memorial Day. It wasn't a bad post. It was on Memorial Day. I see the picture and I'm like, I just talked to him a couple of days ago. So and then I called the guy that posted. I texted him. I was like,
You knew who he was?
yeah, we were all together in the same unit.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, hey man, what happened? And he said, you didn't know? And I was like,
This is how I just found out. Yeah.
I just see a picture that, in his memory, and I was like, he told me what happened. I was like, man.
And you talked to him a couple of days ago. Oof.
I still got the text message in my phone, the stuff we talk,
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like, man, he was doing so good because I helped him. He was going through a lot, so I helped him. I remember before moving from Texas to come to Fort Benning, I helped him to the point that he ended up getting kicked out of the military because all the situation that he was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then within a year, he was doing amazing. He had a girlfriend, about to be his wife. She was pregnant. He was about to be a dad and everything. And then I think, what was it, like 6 days before his birthday, he off himself.
Before his birthday?
I was like,
And nobody would have known.
Mm-mm.
Man,
Well, if it would have happened back when I was in Texas,
you probably would have known.
because at that point I knew what he was going through and he mentioned it a lot. Like he didn't want to be alive, stuff going on his head. And I was like, come on, man, just like he gifted me guns, like because he didn't want the guns because I know I'm gonna harm myself with it. He just gave me the guns. And I think it was a bad juju too. I got rid of the guns, so I was like, I don't want them.
Really?
I'll give him forward head. I get him a head too. I don't want them.
How was it that you found the courage to keep him going through it when he was going through those hard times? Because I guess you hear a lot and you see a lot of the stuff about let's help a veteran. And how do you even feel about that? Do you think that people really do help? Or is it just hearsay?
It's difficult. Because if you don't know the person,
They don't want help.
they don't want the help from a stranger. Like,
They want somebody who's been there.
it's been there, that's done the same thing. It's been there, like I said, we embrace and suck together, like when we end up in the bad moments, So, it's difficult. Like, I won't lie, I've been through that myself, and at that point in my life, there had nobody, like, that I could have called, like, oh shit, I had this thought process going through my head.
How'd you get out of it?
So I laugh about it because
That's funny because there's a lot of, and I say it's funny because that's what you guys do. You guys laugh.
yeah, it's like it's
That was
one
your
way
way
when I thought about it, I was like, I can't do this, it's gonna hurt. That's what was my thoughts. Like, this is gonna hurt. It's a 45 cal. If I shoot myself, the thing is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, you were joking your way out of that.
yeah, that's what
beautiful.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when did you start getting into the police field?
After I think I did a year contracting, and I started having issue with supervisor because the supervisors were not veterans, or some of them weren't, and then some of them were not males too. Nothing against females, there's nothing against females, but there was one that was just way too much.
What do you mean by that?
It's just
Women are way too much.
she was just trying to act up like she was a man, like, oh, I'm in charge, and telling me how to do, or telling all of us in the team that we had how to do our job, even though we have a book that we go based off the book. As I told them, I work based off the book. My hours are based off the book. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and then I told her, I'm not doing what you want me to do because that's fraud. And I'm not, it's going to be my name on a piece of paper, not yours. And that turned out from a low-level little issue to went all the way to high up.
Oh,
And till today's day, they're in the investigation right now because of that.
wow, that's crazy.
So I quit that. I told my wife, hey, I want to get a CD. I want to drive a truck. Cause,
man.
My dad my dad had a company, so he had trucks, heavy equipment, machines, and all that stuff. So I was like, I know how to drive a truck. It's not that hard. Mind you, that's Puerto Rico. 100 by 35. It's a really small little island. You can drive around that thing in 24 hours.
Absolutely. Not the United States.
No.
You learned the hard way?
Yeah, I got a CDL.
Uh-huh.
Hit the road. I think the first week it was fun. Second week, what I made, it wasn't enough. And I was like, I was making a whole lot more money. I'm not making enough money to be away from my house. This is not what I want. I bump into, then I start doing research. I say, what I want to do? Do I want to go overseas as a contractor? Start thinking, crazy.
Anything that you possibly can.
Yeah, there's crazy thoughts. Wife at the moment, she didn't want me to go overseas at all. She was like, no, you got out of the military for a reason. You're not going overseas. Yeah, don't do it. I was like, okay. I got some sort of an interest in the police, but I never thought I was going to be a police because, my background, I was like, I don't think I'd be a cop,
Yeah.
Done so many hood rat stuff in my young days, and I felt some way towards police until I started getting older, and then, you get mature.
Yeah.
And then I see the Opelika post. And I remember I talked to a recruiter first from Auburn. I was like, but what threw me off right away was like, all they offered was money. I was like, I'm not doing this for the money, man. Like, I'm not doing this for the money. Let's start with that. It's not for the money. So I disconnected quick from them. And then I ended up with Opelika.
And then here you are.
And it was so fast that I really thought I was not going to get hired. After my psych eval, I was like, man, I'm not going to get hired. These people are not going to hire me.
From the psych eval and the polygraph?
No, polygraph was good. It was funny when they asked me some questions and the way I answered. Yeah, and then they were like, one question is like, have you stole something? I was like, well, I tactically acquired some stuff.
Oh, you're smart.
And then the most expensive equipment that I technically acquired cost almost $3 million, but I give it back. We just borrowed it for a mission, then we took it back.
There was no lies told there.
No, because hey, you gotta do what you gotta do out there. Those veterans are, they know. Hey, yeah, we gotta technically acquire that, either that Bradley or whatever the machine gun. We gotta take it, then we bring it back. Oh.
And so it was you said the psych eval. It was just the questions that they were asking.
So the questionnaire when I did, and then when I had the one-on-one with the doctor, and then I was like, after we were done.
I didn't know that you guys had to have a one-on-one with the doctor.
Well, I did. I don't know.
I think you do. I think that's very normal.
I did, and then
just to make
she
sure
was like, yeah, that you're good, I'm guessing. Yeah, and then I left. And I think the same day I got an email. She was like, you did good. And I got an email from the recruiter. And the recruiter said, hey, man, your start date is this date. I was like, holy shit, so I got to pass.
Yeah.
I guess I passed. I'm good. And it was really fast,
How different was your experience from the moment that you were doing National Guard and becoming a police officer?
So transitioning over, like from a soldier, there's a difference, but it has some similarities too.
What are the biggest differences for you, in your opinions?
I would say the biggest difference are that, of course, it's not a set, well, it's kind of like a set schedule, yes, but you don't know where you're going to every day in this field, You wake up, like you said earlier.
Over there, you do?
Well, you normally have, as a soldier, you know what you're doing next day. You know months ahead when you're training, where you're going for training, where you're deploying to. You're prepping yourself for everything.
You waking up here.
Yeah, you're waking up, I might die today, which is,
yeah.
That's the thought process. It's written, it's in that book. You might die today,
You might die, yeah.
Oh.
No, but it's every call that you go to.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But that's, I would say, the biggest difference for me. And the similarity is like how tight, at least how we are in our shift, like we tight. And it's kind of being in the team in the military, like we are tight,
Yeah.
I might not like you, how you work, but if somebody mess with you, we're gonna mess up the other guy. Yeah, we're gonna mess up the other guy, no matter what. Because now we're team blue, that's how it goes. And I do enjoy the job. There's some days I get stressed out, but
who doesn't get
stressed out?
For what it is. Now, I would say, do you think that you're misunderstood?
How so?
So, just by personal experience, it was like, you have like this guard that you're like, it all, and like, easy.
Well, I always say too easy. No matter what you tell me, that's easy. Even though it could be the most difficult task you give me, it's gonna be easy.
But I guess it's like from like my perspective and somebody else was like, who is this guy? Never seen you, never met you, don't know who you are.
Yeah, too easy.
Do you find it to where a lot of people are just like thrown back, like, who is this guy? Because you have your head on your shoulders, and you're like, this is nothing.
It's not, and one thing I have noticed is with people overthink too much. Way too much. Yeah, they stress over the small stuff. Like that's why I say the only thing guaranteed in life is death and taxes. So, you see, that's the only thing that's guaranteed in life. Why are you gonna stress over? Oh, I forgot to buy groceries today. I had the list. I had to go today. Man, go tomorrow.
Man, I love that.
You
What?
don't gotta stress over
You
it.
just seem so chill.
I
Is
forgot
it
it.
because of everything that you've been through, or you've always been like that?
No, I think it's because of stuff I've been through. It kind of
Change your perspective.
change your perspective, and then stuff you go through life. Like losing friends and stuff that happens, and you're like, the most valuable thing I got right now is my life. It's not the material things around me. It's not work. Like I told a lot of folks that some people just die for their job. Not dying like getting killed like us, that we put our lives
Yeah,
on the
you know
line.
those
but
people that they work all their lives, and by the time that they're done, they end up dying. They end up passing away.
Yeah, you work till you're 67, 70 years old, and then, now you retired, 2 weeks later you're dead. You gotta enjoy your life, like, just enjoy your life. Don't stress over the small stuff. That's all.
Yeah, bro, that's me. You call me out. You don't even know me like that. I forget to do groceries, and it's like the world is falling.
Yeah, but you forget to clean something. I didn't clean the floor. I gotta clean. It's like, tomorrow's another day. That's how it is. Tomorrow's another day, or later today's another. You can get it done.
That's just one of those things. Like, and I think it is. Maybe you don't know if you're misunderstood, but I would see why. Because now, like, you guys are close, and getting to know you a little bit more, it's like, he's misunderstood. You just have a barrier. And I've learned more from you during this podcast than, any other time that we've spoken or you've spoken to him. Just because is it like a protection for you that you're like, no, I don't know who you guys are. Like, for anybody that you meet, because it's like, you don't even know my business.
Yeah. So, no, I have got that before. Plenty of times.
Yeah.
I've been misunderstood, and then either they think I'm mean or I'm cocky. I was like, dude, no, for me, I'm a cool guy. It's just, I'm
pretty cool.
I'm cool. Even policing, when I interact with people, I interact with, with everything. You got the rich folks, the ghetto folks, and I treat them the same.
Yeah.
There's no difference, I treat them like a human being. And like even when I started here policing, it was funny how we end up in the hood one day, and this group of guys, group of guys and girls, they're like, "Oh, I'm scared of the police." And I was like, "Why are you scared?" Like, you didn't even know me. I told them straight up. And then there was two guys playing basketball, little hoop. And I was like, "Let me get that ball, man." And they were like, "You want the ball?" I was like, "Let's hoop." I play basketball. I grew up playing basketball, Like, me being a cop doesn't mean that I don't know play basketball or I don't get along with you guys. Yeah, we started hooping, and then after like 15, 20 minutes went by, I was like, "Man, you cool as hell." I was like, "Yeah, man, like,
I'm just an officer.
I'm a human just like you, man, doing the job." And I tell everybody, I'm here for you guys. I'm not here to mess your life up. I'm not here to shoot you how the media is out there saying like, "Oh, cops are
Killers,
killing
people.
killing people for no reason." Yeah.
There's bad apples everywhere.
100%. Is that 1% that's
That
out
1%
there?
that gets the
Gets
biggest
hurt.
attention, not the
Yeah.
ones that are doing the
The
good.
good stuff, yeah.
You won't catch somebody going and recording you playing hoop.
No, and of course not. It's not gonna happen. Media just want the bad stuff. That's how it is. And
But
I learned that from the.
When you came in, though, you said you were a little hesitant too, though, because of your own experiences with officers. Was it just like
So back in Puerto Rico, like the police in Puerto Rico, was sad to say, but yeah, back then it was corrupt as hell. A lot
That's
of
how
people.
grandma says it. She says, "El gobierno es corrupto."
They're corrupto, yeah.
Yeah, that's what she says every single time I call her.
But now, once you get older, you see the reality is like, holy snap, it is true, And back then, over there, which I have seen news and stuff, how cops treat people over there. There's a lot of guys and gals that just get a badge, they abuse of the power.
Over there, they have power to do really what they want to.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just, I'm a cop, I do what I want. They just violate people's rights and left and right. That's what they do. Hey, not everybody, but that small percentage, we go back, like the 1% that
Is
do
the
it.
one that's out there making the headlines.
Yeah, and they make the headlines, they get recorded, doing all that bad stuff. I had some interaction like that when I was young in Puerto Rico, like really bad interaction with police officers. And I was like, dude, what the hell I've done to you? You know, I'm like, I haven't done nothing. And you're treating me like I'm a criminal. You got 10 patrol cars right in front of my aunt's house. And then one cop telling me, get out of the car. Then the other one, no, I told you to stay in the car. And I was like, what? So who do I listen?
Yeah.
You know, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
And that's why I never thought about being a cop. Is like, I don't want to become one of them. You know, it was thoughts I had. I was like, I want to be there for the people. Same reason I joined the military, to help others. Well, you know, for the country. Back when I was a soldier. Now I'm here for the people.
Yeah.
And it was a switch. And I was like, I don't really want to be a cop. And then when this happened, it happened so fast. I put the application in. In less than a week, I had an interview. In less than 2 days, I was doing polygraph. And then I was like, oh yeah, now I'm signing a contract. Fast. And then.
Man, did you ever? It's the same thing that happened to you when you were getting ready to cuss that recruiter out. It was fast.
It was fast.
Did you ever compare those two together?
Yes. And you know, it was crazy though. I always look back. I joined the military in March, back in 12. And then I joined the PD in March in 2024.
What? That's 12 years later.
Yeah, I was like, look at this. Like, the same month, you know, I signed a contract, you know, that they'll make a change. It'll make a big impact in my life, you know.
Yeah. 12 years later, same movie.
Yeah, the same month.
Doing, essentially it's different. Obviously it's a little bit different. But it was fast. So you're talking about both stories and it's like, igualito, like if you put them side by side.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same thing.
I just hope not getting hurt here. Like, hey, you gotta get out. Like,
or something like that. Like, how long have you already been policing?
Well, since I got out of the academy, a year now.
Really? You made your year already?
I think so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I got to look at the calendar right now. I'm back with days, but I think it's a year because the group chat of the class, they text last night, hey, happy anniversary. I was like, what the hell?
Happy anniversary. What you
like, anniversary? What the hell, you know?
Now, would you say, like, when you guys were in the academy, street smart and book smart are just two different things for becoming a police officer?
Yes. 100%. 100%. Well, it's same as a soldier. Everything is the similarities. The same. You gotta have the book smarts, which is amazing to have them around because they book smart. You ask them a question, they give you the answer, the book answer. Do you want the book answer when you're dealing with people in the streets? No.
It's not gonna do nothing for you.
Ain't gonna do shit, you know. Like,
are you gonna go and try to? If somebody wants to fight you because they're, irate,
hyped up, you gotta fight now.
They that in a book.
Now these kids, there was a lot of good people in the academy, like a lot of them, but a lot of them, I would say, I think 80% of them were really smart. They lack common sense, which they still they're great guys,
Common sense is not really that common for you.
No.
So now
I realize that.
with the time that you've had like on patrol, like do you see yourself doing anything else?
I'm always up for challenges. So if I don't, I always think like if anything would happen to me, or either get fired or I end up quitting, whatever.
Yeah.
The next thing on the line, in my path, there'll be a fireman. Let's try it. Let's see what it is.
Seriously?
You're a fireman. Yeah. Let's see how is that?
You're gonna sleep for a long time.
Yeah, you got to work 24 hours but sleep 23.
Yeah, you guys don't do anything. That's all with love. But altogether, all those things that you've been through, like, what would you say is like one of the things that you hold on to the most every single day? I know that you're gonna end up dying. That's like we gotta get you a plaque for that. They're like, your days are numbered.
Your day is numbered.
Your day is numbered and your name is written on a book. But is there anything that really, you have seen some things, you've gone through some things, you lost some people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything besides the fact that we're gonna die? Is it that really keeps you going? Because for you to keep your head up high with all the things that you've gone through, and to laugh.
It's just
you joked your way out of death.
I joked,
you joked your way out of death.
Yeah, I joke about everything. I don't know. I think it's just the way I am. I think it's the ego of me that's I'm not gonna, like you said, probably a shield. I can't tell you, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably my doctor can say something about it. You know?
My doctor can tell me.
He can tell, yeah,
Yeah.
this guy, he's cocky because he just don't want the people to see
Like who you are.
like who he is, I don't know.
Have you gone to therapy before?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Man, the first time I did it.
Well, I bet you
Yeah,
didn't. You gotta sit there and you gotta talk about a lot.
Yeah, and it was awkward. I didn't talk like for damn near 40 minutes. I don't talk. I'm like, what do you want me to talk to? I don't even know you guys. What the hell?
Was it hard for you to establish? Because it wasn't. Now, one thing I forgot to ask you, is it hard to remove your identity as a soldier? Or you're always a soldier? I don't really know how that works. Because it's like a touchy. I don't know anything about military, and I don't want to stick my foot in my
No,
mouth.
so I tried at first when I got out to disconnect completely and just try to be a civilian.
So,
But I couldn't.
no, I don't think you
and
can.
I can't. And it goes back to how normal people, because I don't consider myself normal. Like I'm being real. Like
Yeah.
the regular people out there, normal, they got a regular lifestyle. They just they stress for the smallest thing. Things like that. That whatever just get them all either spooked or worried. I don't give a
Were you like that before you were in the military? Were you like those people?
I think I was because, I always wanted to be a soldier, but I never had that image in my family, like a soldier there, like, oh, I want to be like him. So I kind of fall into what they say, how they call it, the cycle of the family,
Yeah.
for a little bit. But then I was like, I can't be like this, it's not me.
You broke the generation.
Well, I sure
first.
did, 100% did. There's no little Ramoses out there, not even that. So I was like, I sure did broke that. So, it was just now when people tell me something that stressed them, like, oh, I'm stressed because of this. And when I tell them to think that that for me is normal, that's a normal day for me. It's like, man, that shit I would have killed myself over that. Oh shit, that's a normal day for me, buddy. Like it's nothing,
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe we joke around, man. We joke a lot in this field about like we just want to.
yeah. Like,
But like, oh.
when like that's why I say when somebody has a regular lifestyle that is not in the either policeman or fireman or EMS, they talk to somebody who's normal. You're like,
No,
you can't even have a conversation with them people. You're like,
You
oh,
can't.
man,
We joke about death
all the time.
Yeah, we have one that dies, and then we're like, well, there's two more coming right after.
Yeah,
Who's gonna be the next one?
What's the next one? That's right.
Oh my, that's so dark.
It is crazy when you talk about it. It's like you get along with those people because you're in the same field, kind of in the same field.
Kind of in the you all have like a little
You see
thing.
death, you see crazy thing happenings, and it doesn't bother you. Like a regular person sees somebody dying, and then, oh, I can't see that. They want to see somebody dying. I say, man, what was that bullet hole went through? I want to see what that bullet went through there when we touch it. But
No, in like relationships that you've had, and when you were in the military, and now, like, is it hard to explain anything, or you just don't talk about it? You don't want to talk about it.
I normally don't, and I think that's what.
Causes problems.
Yeah, it did cause, like, at least in my marriage, I know it did, because I didn't talk about the things that would bother me or the stress that I had from work, because
Is it just because you didn't know how to explain it, or you just didn't want to take it out?
I think it's both, but then the truth of it too is, as a wife, that you work, your husband work, I knew my wife. Like, I know she works. She got her own problems. Why would I bring her my problems? You know what I mean?
That's your wife.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but still, she gonna then stress over my problems, And, I was like, I don't want to tell you, like...
That's such a man way of thinking. And I say it like, a lot of men think that way. I don't want to burden my wife. When your wife is literally, because I'm like, I was that wife before I started working in this field who was like puppy dog eyes, like, please tell me.
Tell me what's going on there.
Please tell me. And you're like, no.
Yeah, it's just...
Because, they're worried.
They are, though, which I get it. And I think that's my biggest problem of, like, okay, I get you're worried about it.
You don't want to burden somebody with your problem.
No, and I don't want to put you in the thought process of, like, an incident when I started with the police department, I got hit, my unit got hit, and I almost got killed that day.
When did you get into an accident?
I was brand new. I think my second week in the streets. This dude hit the unit and it clipped me, like the glass hit my head of the mirror.
I definitely didn't hear
Yeah.
that story.
Well,
Oh my God.
Everybody, even the lieutenant of the ship back there was like, Ramos, you didn't get spooked. I was like, nah, if you listen to my body cam, I got mad because he didn't hit me. And then I was like, I say, stupid fucking fuck, something like that. And then we got the unit and chased him and got him.
Yeah.
But I was calm the whole time. I was like, it's not my day. That's the way I see it. It wasn't my day. It's not my day. I'm here.
No, I didn't know that happened to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So at first, I don't think I told my wife the first day.
Hey, you got into a car accident?
Well, I think that I almost get killed. It wasn't even a car accident. Like,
You almost died.
he hit my car, almost hit me, and then I showed the video. And she was like, "Oh, you laugh about it?" I was like, "Yes, like I'm here. Nothing happened. Like it was."
Oh my God.
Like even my partner that was there, my FTO back then, he was all scary. Of course, I get it. Like I'm the new guy. Like
You almost died.
I almost died. Like with my trainee almost died. Let me put it that way. Like, oh, if I'm training somebody, he's about to die. Like he's not even scared. I was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Like
Yeah,
what's
there
wrong
must
with you?
be something wrong with you.
And things like that is that I know somebody would have gone through that, probably would have quit that same day. Because they asked me when I went back to the department.
Yes, you got to get
I was
evaluated.
like, hey man, you good? Everybody was asking me. I already got pissed off. I got to a point, dude, stop asking me. I'm okay. Like, fuck. I've been through worse. This is nothing. Like, this is nothing. Leave me alone, man.
But to them, that must have been
It's not
something.
normal for them because even
Yeah.
I think who was it? Either the chief or somebody told me like, man, like you've been through you almost been killed. You've been like so in your early stage of your career. You've been through so much. People in 20 years have been through. I was like, well, I guess I am the one. Like.
But that's one of those things, like, and I think that also contributes. Like, what's wrong with this guy? He almost freaking died. He's laughing like there's nothing wrong. There's something wrong with him.
There's something. He got something unbolted in his head.
Man, but for one of those things, you told her a day later.
I think it was a day later, something like that.
Oh,
I have to ask her. You didn't tell her to text me. You
It's
tell her.
like go and choke you out in and of itself.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things. I think any marriage, whether you're in like a first responder or not, and you don't communicate.
Yeah, go for him.
But mostly, you being a first responder, the fact that you almost died, I just learned about that. Thank God you're still here. And you came out laughing and you're smiling. Like, yeah, that's probably one of the main reasons why you still have your head up, because you just joke about it.
Yes, it goes back to the
Too
same thing.
easy.
It's too easy. It's just, yeah, it's life, like I said. Like I've been saying, your date is there. Whenever that day comes, it's a day.
Are you close to anybody? Really? Besides the guys at work?
I get that a lot, though.
No, I just say it because I don't know if, like, the relationships that you had before, like in the military, like if you're just like, no, I want to keep my space, or you like being private and to yourself.
So when I was growing up, I remember my aunt used to tell me I was really like a lonely guy, like by myself.
Always.
And then it changed with the time, of course. And I said, man, I can't be by myself the whole time. Shit. So, I appreciate like real friendships. Like, and I get attached to like with your husband, Jill, we're really tight.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's not something that happens overnight, though.
no,
Right?
it's
It's a slow process.
It's a slow process, a bond that you create, And then because we work together, I spend more time with him than I spend in my house. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, pretty much.
you get,
probably talk to him more than I talk
yeah,
to him.
you get tight with those people that you work because you spend so many hours together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have noticed that with the military now, this field is like you disconnect from your family a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you mean to.
No, it's not on purpose.
It's not on purpose. It's just a natural thing, And we go back. Some normal people might not do it because they just go to work.
Normal, not normal.
No, yeah, they go to work. They go home. They disconnect from work. I can't disconnect from work. Sometimes I get home
And you're still wound up?
and then I'm like still in the computer trying to figure something out.
Why? Why can't you? Well, you don't have your own thing to just.
It's just some of the cases I work. I can't just get out of it. Like,
They
just
usually
stay
say
in my head.
like 10 to 15 minutes, like when you get to your house, to not go inside yet. But like, don't be on your computer for work. Like, I don't know, call somebody, talk, laugh, ha he, or like.
Yeah, I guess I
Be on
never tried that.
You'll have to try it.
Yeah, I never tried. I get home, I get to the house, and then sometimes I eat, and then I open the computer. If I got something important that I got to do, or and I'm searching for somebody.
It's your passion.
I think that's what it is. You know, I care a lot for some people. And, you know, sometimes I hate that for myself because I care more for the people that I don't even know. And that's
Look
a
at
problem.
you. Look at you coming out with the truth here.
No, for real. Man.
Yeah.
That even in my own house, you know what I mean? Like, a stranger, I want to help a stranger and not help in my house, you know? Like, help somebody that they got robbed or they got raped. And then I wonder, like, hey, I need to help this person.
Is there ever a time where you're like, I didn't help them? Are you hard on yourself? Or you couldn't help them?
Nah, because I know I did the most I could, you know?
That's a good
That's
way to
up.
put it.
That's the way I see it, you know? So sometimes I think about some stuff like, man, if I would have done this way, like the last mess up I did, you know, like if we would have waited at least 30 more minutes, I would have catch a guy. But I didn't, you know, I was just this guy, and then he wasn't. And I was like, oh, I messed up.
Yeah. You learn from it.
I'll learn from it, so that's not gonna happen again. And that's a good thing about this field. It's not like the military. You fuck up once, you fuck up again, and the same thing because it's so fast paced in the military that you're gonna forget the fuck up and you're gonna do it again down the road.
Yeah.
In this field, that one fuck up, you're like, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah, you have a little bit of time to go ahead and space it.
And space it, yeah. So like the day I got hit on the unit, even though I was trained that when you are in a busy like highway or a regular road,
Was it the one that? Okay, hold on. Now I'm like thinking about it. Were you outside your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in a traffic stop.
I did hear about it, but they didn't say who it was. They said the other officer, but they didn't say who it was. They said one of the rookies.
It was me, the only rookie, because the other two that went to academy quit, so it was just me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. You were outside your unit when that happened.
And I was
Okay, now it came
in.
full circle for me. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. Well,
No,
it was
they
bad.
said-
Everybody talk about it like it was. Oh, you almost. But I
No,
again,
but
I
they
laugh
didn't-
about it.
No, but you see, the way that we heard it wasn't glass shattering or any of that. The way that we heard it was that you guys got moved out of the way, and you almost got hit.
So New pushed me in, like my FTO. He pushed me into. If he wouldn't push me, I would have gotten hit.
So he pushed you in.
He pushed me into the car. So this guy hit my unit, bounced out of my unit a little bit, and then he scraped us. And like he just pushed me in towards the car, and I just felt the
I
glass.
want to shit myself.
I felt the glass of the mirror hitting the back of my head, and the FTO, he got hit with a piece of plastic of the mirror that flew into his leg.
I didn't know it was
So
that bad.
if you watch the video, it's funny because I'm looking. That's what everybody say. You were in shock. I was like, no, trying to identify the vehicle because that's what I want to do. Like, this happened. I know this happened. So I'm looking to the left. I see the vehicle fleeing. I need to try to catch a tag, vehicle model, and color.
Well, you just got like glass shattered all over.
And I was like, okay, this is F-150. It's black. I know the direction of travel. And then my FTO said, let's get on it. Let's go get him. Let's go.
Wait, you guys chased it right
Yeah,
after?
we got him. And we got right like down the road right behind the hospital.
No, I didn't know that. Wow, I got the full story
Yeah.
now. That's crazy. That's like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it was fun. And FTO was like, man, you sure can drive. I was like, I guess so, man. Like, we were going to get him. And I won't lie. If he wouldn't been with me, I lost sight of the truck for a minute. He saw it when he turned and kind of hit towards the hospital because I was going to keep going straight to the highway. He said, it's right there, it's right there. So then I pushed right.
You guys were on night shift?
Yeah. And then,
I mean, that's even worse. You can't see anything. A black apple?
yeah, black F-150, yeah.
You're not going to see none of that.
And it was a newer model, too. Like, it was crazy.
Man.
And then the dude, when we got him, he's like, you don't know what I do for work.
You just almost hit me.
I
What
was
do you mean? Who
like,
cares?
motherfucker, like, you just hit my unit, almost take me out on
That's
a traffic
crazy.
stop that I didn't want to do. Like,
The audacity.
yeah. And then, so from that, I learned, because we learned in the academy, you know, nighttime or when it's a busy, like, roadway, passenger side approach. I like talking to people, like, right there. I can see them, what they doing. I don't like coming to the other side and having all that space in between. But when that happened, that night shift, I was like, I'll go passenger side. I don't want to get
You
hit.
said, wow, let me learn
Let
from
me
my
learn from this one,
mistakes.
yeah. So that, you see, that's why I say fuck ups in this field, you're not gonna do it again. Like, you learn right there and then it stays in the back of your head. If I do this, I might get killed because I'm dumb at that point.
At this point, I'm dumb. I didn't die the first time. But
Now
the
if I
second
do it
time, I'm
again-
going to die because I'm dumb.
Because I'm dumb. I shouldn't have done that. You know, like, I did.
Man.
Yeah.
Now, for the last thing before we wrap up, would you say you know, it's easier for you to essentially work everything out on the road and learn everything about the road, but you don't put enough time in what you have on your own, like your home life or anything like that. And I ask because I think everybody relates to that. Every officer, every first responder's like, no, don't ask me. Don't talk to me about anything that I have going on. Like, we're good. We're peachy. Is there a reason why you think you first responders are like that? That you don't want to work on your own problems or you want to help everybody else?
You just don't think about your own problems.
Is it just like minuscule, compare it, or it's just not even out of sight, out of mind?
Well, for me, it's just what problems would I have in reality? That's the way I see it. I got a roof, I got a nice house, I got nice cars, you know. I got food in my house. There will be nothing that I deal with in the street that compared to what I'm going through. So it's like I don't the really small things that I'm going through.
That you see as small.
For me, it's small. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when I deal with a homeless guy or a runaway kid, like I'm trying to figure out what's going through their head, and of course they don't have a house. They've been in shelters, and you know, I don't got that problem. My problem is gonna be like how we talking earlier. Oh man, I think about the gallon of milk. Yeah, shit. You stress, things like that. That's a problem, and for me, it's not. So I don't even care. I get home and then I get yelled at. Oh, what's a gallon of milk? Oh, shit. I go buy it, you know. I go back and buy it, you know.
You just laugh. Oh,
well, you go get it, you know. Like, one more down the road.
I don't want to be like that. I want to laugh about everything. Like, that would make life so much easier.
You know, I stress over some stuff, yes.
What's the things that you stress over? No, we're having this conversation like the whole interview.
Like, right now?
What really stressed you out?
Well, right now, what really stressed me out is I can't even fix it. I got a Corvette and I can't fix it because I put too much time in work. And that would be the thing that it gets in my head. I get home, I see the car in jack stands. I was like,
and you just,
oh, man, when I want to fix this, you know? Like, I need
that's
to
your baby.
Yeah, I'm saying I need to have time to fix it, but in reality, I don't have time. Well, I do, but I don't at the same time.
You don't make the time for it to take care of it.
Because I get home, the same thing. Even my days off, I'm thinking about work. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Oh, one day
off. Were you like that when you were in the military too?
Yes.
You were still thinking about
that?
So then you're a workaholic.
I just try to stay active working, you know. Like, and that's one thing. Going back to my grandfather, you know, he always taught me that you're the man of the house. You are the one that provides for your family no matter what. If you got to work 3 jobs, you got to do it, you do it. There's no excuse as a man. So that's why I always tell, like,
Man,
kids
that separates you guys from like the new age where it's like, no, we're splitting everything.
Yeah, you want to split stuff with your wife. What the hell is your problem, man? Like, shit. Like, what? It's nice, yes, don't get me wrong. Like, if when my wife helps me, you know, I'll pay this. It's nice. You have extra cash you can spend on BS that you want to spend.
Yeah.
But I wasn't raised like that, you know. They say, oh, machista, you know. Oh, he's the man, you got to do everything. Well, that's how my grandfather taught me, you know. You provide for your wife, you provide for your kids.
It's hard to unwrap that.
Yeah,
that was something that you were instilled.
If I got to cut hair, cut grass, work on cars, or work on motorcycles and decide to make more money for either the hobbies or for whatever you want, I'm going to do it. Like, I might be tired at the end of the day, but shit, you know, I feel good because I did it, you know.
That's still something like a part of you that you keep your grandfather alive within you.
Yeah.
Without even recognizing it.
Yeah. you know, sometimes I think about it. That's one of that thing. He might be just there with me, like, yeah, you can do it. You go ahead and do it, you know. Like, if I did it, you can do it.
And you looked up to him a lot.
Yeah.
And he was one of the ones that was like a driving force for everything that you've done. More than likely without you recognizing it. When you're tired and you want to go to bed, he's like, Dale.
No, yeah.
Now you got to go and work.
You got to go to work, buddy. Like, it's nice.
Man.
You know, that's funny how I always say it's too easy, but there's no easy days. That's what he used to tell me. There's no easy day for a man. And that's, which is, for me, is true. You know, like, a man should be able to, no matter what you go through, you got to get over it, you know? That's the way I see it.
Man,
a lot of people...
we got to take it to therapy.
No,
we got to unravel that.
A lot of people just don't think... I know mental health
Get
is
through it maybe is a little bit better than get over it, because it's like, I think you don't even process what you go through.
Sometimes, no, I just get over, you know, toss that out. If it's bad, it
don't exist. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead, you know.
Maybe you're just numb at this point.
It could be. You know, it's like lately when I talk to my aunt, it's like I ask her about my mom, you know. And back in the days, like when I was younger, they was always, you want to talk to your mom when you get older? I was like, no. Like, why? She wasn't there. She's not here. Why do I really want to know about her now? But there's sometimes when I talk to my mom, I ask about her. Even not even consciously doing it, I say, hey, have you heard about her, And I was like, oh, shit.
You grew up on
it.
Before you did.
I think I might now want to know about her, see how she's doing or what's going on. Like, so she can enlighten me more what really happened to give me up how that's the way I see it. I don't know what happened for real. Like,
Hey,
I see that she just gave me up, but
But that was your mom's sister? Like your aunt?
Yes,
Was that your mom's
from
sister?
my mom's side, yeah.
Yeah. You've never talked about that with your aunt? Or your aunt who's technically the one that raised you?
Wait, I don't remember. I just forget. Like that's how I disconnect. Though I just it's out. It's out of my head. I don't think about it. I don't remember.
Man, very chill, very cool, very calm. The 3 C's, very chill, very cool, very calm. 2 E's.
Yeah, too easy, baby.
Well, I just want to say thank you because you've changed my perspective. Like, I have to apologize in and of itself because I put you in a box without even knowing exactly who you were. And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, you humbled me to not judge because you don't know what somebody's going through or what they've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave me, and everybody that's going to see it, a lot of insight on, military and like the unspoken burdens that you guys carry.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially just staying quiet just because you're actually going through some things and you have to, I guess, battle, like, do I want to think about it? Do I want to toss it?
Yeah. Toss out the window.
Well, everybody, I'm hoping you guys learned from him just like I did. If you guys enjoyed it, comment your favorite part so he can go ahead and see it himself. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on the Stories We Carry.